Mr. Reba, roll call, please.
Mr. Bonomo,
Here.
Mr. Chapman,
Here.
Mr. Fume,
Here.
Mrs. Kay,
Here.
Mr. John,
Here.
Mr. Mahalik,
Here.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Here.
Mrs. Scarcella,
Here.
and Mr. Zola.
Here.
Announcement of executive sessions held as follows: March 15, 2016 personnel, and March 22nd, 2016 personnel and student issues. Public announcements and recognition.
Thank you, Mr. John. Mr. Donati is, of course, here with us this evening for some special recognitions.
Thank you. Good evening. On behalf of the Hazleton Area School District and its Board of Education, I have the privilege of recognizing a number of students for their academic accomplishments tonight. As I call your name, would you please come up to the podium? First, I would like to introduce and recognize Miss Sadie Cloud. Miss Cloud is a fifth grade student at Valley Elementary and Middle School, and she placed second in the Insoluble Science Challenge. This is a video competition provided by the Everly College of Science at Penn State University main campus. Ms. Cloud's project was researching the use of algae to make energy as an alternative fuel source. For her efforts, Ms. Cloud will receive a week of science camp at Penn State University main campus. Ms. Sadie Cloud. All right, next, I would like to introduce and recognize 4 students for their accomplishments at the Health Occupation Students of America, HOSA, Future Healthcare Professional State Leadership Conference, which was held March 9th through the 11th in Lancaster, PA. This conference was attended by over 800 students from Pennsylvania. The students placed in their competition and will be attending and competing at the International Leadership Conference in Nashville, Tennessee, June 20th through 22nd. So as I call your name, please come up to the podium. From the Hazleton Area Academy of Science, Miss Emily Corrado. Emily placed first in the prepared speaking contest. Miss Carly Veglia, first place, pharmacology knowledge test. She's working tonight, so she couldn't be here. Next, Miss Deanna Fox. Same thing, I believe. She was not here. She placed second in the nutritional knowledge test. And from the Hazleton Area Career Center, Miss Mary Sweeney is a delegate for this competition. Miss Sweeney. In addition, we have their mentor for the club, Miss Mary Makuda, who is here tonight also. That's everything.
Mary, we really appreciate your leadership with the group, and we're excited for the students' accomplishments. And Emily, I know who I can count on if I need some speeches written for me, so I'll have to remember that. We have another celebration this evening from our Career Center, and that's the Out-of-Body program. And I understand we have some photos, and Mr. Zola, I think you'd like to speak to.
Bobby K, if you would pull up on the old drive the photos that Mr. Barnes shared. I probably should have given him a heads up a few seconds earlier. Sorry, Bob.
That's okay.
This is some work that the students in the auto body shop, under the direction of their instructor, Mr. Dave Barna, did on a vehicle that we purchased down at a public sale of state vehicles that are being used currently by our law enforcement, by our police department. And Bob, if you just go through, there's a number of photos here that you'll see some of the work that these kids actually took the hood, sanded it down, prepared it for paint. So, that's the downdraft spray booth that they use to, it's state-of-the-art, actually, technology that they're using to spray the vehicle. And Mr. Barner, you're not here, are you? Because you could probably do a better job at this. He said he might not be able to make it, but. I mean, this is the type of work that, if you go out into an auto body shop, you're paying thousands of dollars to have done to your vehicle, and our students are doing this type of work right here in the Career Center. So I think it's just a great, something to showcase. Lori, tell Mr. Barner we appreciate his efforts.
Mr. Fume, public comments directed at the board on items, agenda items only.
Yes, Dr. Childs.
Oh my God, he is just not giving up. He'll be running against you this time.
Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm Bob Childs. I'm a resident of Hazel Township. I'm here to speak on actually several items. Start with number 27. I'd asked Mrs. Turman last week whether or not there could be any Perkins funding for this. She said she'd had no success in the past. I did indeed look up my notes from about 2 years ago, and at the time, Dr. Viviano had presented to us an item that suggested that we could get half funding for a full-time position as a coordinator for the co-op program. I would suggest that you might want to check to see what he was able to do in order to be able to get that. We were told at the time that there were other priorities for the Perkins funding, and that's why it was not used at that point in time to get that position partially funded. Secondly, looking particularly at number 28, but also at 71 and 74, these appear to be new positions. I was under the impression from what I was told a month ago that there would be no new positions until the new budget, and that was with regards to finding secretarial help for the guidance department. Am I mistaken? Are these not new positions?
Dr. Childs, number 71 is a anticipated replacement position for a retirement that's already been submitted.
Okay.
And it's based on over-enrollment numbers at the high school in physical education. Mr. Donati might be able to speak to number 74. It's Ms. Stevens, Mr. Donati.
We were able to obtain a expansion grant for a pre-K classroom. In order to get that grant, we had to open a new pre-K classroom. So this is to fill that position.
Okay.
So it's funded through the grant, so that would not impact the general fund in any way.
Now, again, number 28 would impact the general fund, the budget as it were. Maybe I should ask for a restatement of that position. It's not like you're not going to hire new people, but you're only going to hire new people for particular jobs that you folks think are specifically important for the moment. Is that a better way of phrasing it?
I would be happy to comment on number 28. Recommend the board approve creation, posting, and job description of a part-time auto mechanics instructor for the Career Center. That's in order to allow our co-op program to expand now. In order for it to expand from its current position, we need to allow Mr. DeBello the opportunity and time to do that. So by allowing him to do that, we have to fill a half a day in that classroom so that Mr. DeBello can continue with.
Right. But Mr. DeBello is actually then filling a new position.
He's filling a new position?
Yeah.
Well, he is currently our co-op representative.
Yeah, but there's no formal position for the co-op representative right now.
Well, he's doing the job. I mean,
I understand
he
that,
has
but
about 25 students out on co-op now that he's managing.
I guess what I'm trying to say, Mr. Zola, is it appears that you're spending money for new positions or newly created job descriptions, if you would, regardless of the budgetary stringencies, depending on how you folks see it.
I'm looking at it from a standpoint of the position is necessary for our students who need to be out there working to be able to do that. And I think Mr. DeBello over the years has proven to be able to do that.
I don't disagree with you. I think
Yeah.
the co-op, you need a full-time co-op.
Absolutely.
I have no question.
And I think that's the direction maybe
Right.
it'll head in it. But,
But
you know.
again, just to reiterate a point, I think that the secretarial positions that you need, the two for guidance, are every bit as important.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention that. So.
We took the long way to get there, Doc, though.
Mr. Fume?
That's all, Mr. President.
We'll get to treasurer's report after that. G, approve board minute meetings, regular board meeting, February 25th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Reba?
All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, minutes are passed.
H, treasury report for February
So moved.
2016.
Second.
Mr. Reba?
All in favor of approving the treasurer's report, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Before we begin the agenda tonight, we're going to remove item number 75. And I would also like to make two announcements. Number one, to remind people that April's meeting will be held in McAdoo Calares Elementary Middle School on April 28th at 7 o'clock. April 28th, 7 o'clock, McAdoo Calares Elementary Middle School. The second announcement is that next Wednesday, we will hold a town meeting at the Hazleton Area High School at 6 o'clock, based upon our, 7 o'clock, I'm sorry, based upon the fact that our budget, the amount of money, our options that we may have as a school district, and we want the people to be informed as to where we stand. So it's very important, as far as I am concerned, that the people come and listen to our presentation. We're doing this out of transparency so that you can see where we're at as of now. There's rumors going around now that this could be taken care of, the budget by the state could be taken care of by the end of the week. If that's the case, there will be no meeting next Wednesday. But if there is no budget from the state, we will have a town hall meeting next Wednesday at 7 o'clock, Hazleton Area High School auditorium. Dr. Butler.
Thank you, Mr. John. Curriculum and instruction, approving items 1 through 7.
So moved. Second.
Questions, board members? Mr. Reba?
Numbers 1 through 7, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Special education, ESL, and alternative education, approve items 8 through 13.
So moved. Second.
Questions from board members? Mr. Reba?
Numbers 8 through 13, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Nutrition, approve items 14 through 18.
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Mr. Reba?
Numbers 14 through 18, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Transportation, approve items 19 through 20.
So moved. Second.
Questions, board members? Mr. Reba?
Numbers 19 and 20, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Security and Career Center, approve items 21 through 25.
So
with one
moved.
vote.
Second.
Questions? Mr. Reba?
Numbers 21 through 25, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Approve items 26 through 31 with one motion.
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Mr. Reba?
Numbers 26 through 31, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Student activities, athletics, and extracurricular, approve items 32 and 33.
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Mr. Reba?
Numbers 32 and 33, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Technology, approve items 34 through 36 with one motion.
So moved. Second.
Questions? Mr. Reba?
Numbers 34 to 36, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Facilities and capital projects, recommend board approve advertising for summer help.
So
cost-
move.
Second.
We are going to keep this total at 8 numbers of students instead of 15, and we will get back to you next month with how the 8 will be distributed.
So should we table this?
We really need to know the total before the April meeting.
So we have to vote on the 8, if
We
that's
just
what we
need you to
agreed
vote
to.
on the 8,
On the 8.
and then we can tell you where the 8 will go.
Okay.
So do you need us to amend this or no?
Just whoever made the motion, if you can just include 8 in your motion. I'm sorry, who made the motion?
McTony.
I'll make a motion to include 8 instead of 15.
I'll second it.
Questions? Mr. Reba?
Number 37, on 8 students, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Finance, approve items 38 through 42 with one motion.
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Mr. Reba?
Numbers 38 through 42, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
43, bills.
So move.
Second.
Questions on any of the bills from board members?
C and D, can we do those separate?
C and D.
On D, it's the modular building, payment contingent upon receiving occupancy permit.
We finally got that, Vinnie.
Oh, it's in?
Yeah, we just received it, yeah.
Okay. So we can include that, Vinnie, in the other ones?
Yes,
Okay, so the only one you want a separate vote on is C?
yes.
Somebody make a motion on that?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any questions on all bills except C? Mr. Reba?
On 43, A through F, excluding C, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No on D.
No on D.
Okay, so Mr. Bonomo is a no on D. Mr. Mahalik, was that a no on D?
Yes, sir.
If I could ask, who else? voted
Jared.
No on D.
Okay, motion passes, noting the 3 no votes on D. So if we can get a motion and second on 43C.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
43.
Any questions on 43C? I'm
Mr.
gonna take
Reba?
a roll call vote. Mr. Bonomo, 43C.
Yes.
Mr. Chapman.
Yes.
Mr. Fume.
Yes.
Mrs. K.
Yes.
Mr. Mahalik.
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell.
No.
Mrs. Scarcella.
Yes.
Mr. Zola.
No.
And Mr. John.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-2.
Superintendent's agenda, approve items 44 through 51.
So moved.
Second.
Questions?
On the question, Dr. Butler, I just looking through over the conference request, and just at times like on the 5th, 5-5 and 5-6, we have like 17 teachers out of the buildings for that one, and 3-3 and 3-4, we have like 13 at the same time.
Good point. Cost the district, unfortunately.
I'm all for conferences. I think you get to learn a lot and all, but I was just concerned with the numbers out at the same time. I know we pay about $100 a day for a sub, and I do know that they cover at times within the school for that, which is probably the case. But I just, maybe wonder in the future, do we need to have so many people out of the building at the same time?
Good question, Mr. Zola. In regards to 3-3 and 3-4, that was suicide prevention training, and at least half of the individuals, probably more than half, did not require sub. So administrators, counselors, nurses, for example. Now, with regard to the May date, I'd have to check into that and get back to you. Good question. Appreciate your concern. Thank you very much. And by the way, follow up on the training on March, we will be training our entire staff on the Act 80 Day, May 13th. We're equipping ourselves to be the train-the-trainer model. Thank you.
Mr. Krasansky, could you start at the beginning again?
Yes.
Oh, right
Beginning
there,
of suicide prevention or all of
right,
them?
right there.
You're there.
You're there. I thought it was more than that.
Where we get it from.
That's the one list, and then there's another.
But why is she on? That's what I just said. That question.
Why are there zeros?
Doc. He said it doesn't cost them anything.
Sorry. I was wondering, why are there zeros along?
The suicide prevention training was at no cost to us, Mr. Bonomo,
okay,
at the IU 18.
Okay.
Well, if you see the one, there is a cost, I mean, minimal.
$29.
We'll just eliminate that or what?
Yeah.
Table these?
Can, sure. Some might be.
These are.
Okay, Clarence, what's the holdup?
Well, those we can table.
Yes, March.
Yep.
You can't touch it.
These can. And what is the difference in the cost? Why is there a different cost?
What's this?
Keisha Fano, what's the deal on the Hershey?
Can you move up a little bit one more time?
Mr. Donati? Please.
What the heck's that? What's this?
Could you scroll back to the beginning, Mr. Krasansky, please?
In 2 months.
What is the difference in?
I don't know. What's the discussion? I was thinking, like, this list was in our pack. I mean, no, they're different. Just vote no on it. If you don't want the conferences, vote no on it. Pick and choose what conferences you're gonna vote no on.
Oh, okay, you're saying the upper.
This person here is retiring, so they want to know why she's going on a conference.
Okay. I'm gonna make a motion to table 44 and 45. Right? 44 and 45?
Well, actually,
And 46.
Ms. Kay, I don't think the 45 is not connected to
No.
44.
Just 44.
44.
Okay, motion to table number 44.
Second.
Any questions from board members? Mr. Reba?
On the motion to table, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion to table 44 passes.
Okay, Doc.
So we'll vote on 45
45
through
through
51.
51. Mr. Reba?
All in favor of 45 through 51, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Approving items 50 through 66 with one motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, board members? Mr. Reba, roll call?
Numbers 52 to 66, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Approve items 67 through 76,
So moved.
excluding item 75. Second.
Questions? Mr. Reba?
Numbers 67 or 76, excluding 75, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
New business, Doc?
Yes, new business, approve items number 77. Recommend board approve Gina Molinaro as a long-term substitute teacher, second grade at Arthur Street Elementary for the 2015-16 school year. Start date August 31st, 2015. Day 127 would be March 17th of 2016. A starting salary of $40,824.
So move.
Second.
Questions? Mr. Reba, roll call?
Number 77, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Adding number 78, recommend board approve the following long-term substitute teacher for the 2015-16 school year. Miss Angela Watro, Arthur Street Elementary.
So move.
Second.
Any questions? Any public comments, a new item? She did have her 127 days in, which puts her in the first year's salary.
Thank God, I don't know why Clarence.
Step.
All he was interested
Mr. Reba?
in his wife's job. Him and
Number
his wife.
78, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes.
And Mr. John, if I may just take a moment, if anyone's in the audience who's been appointed this evening or otherwise recognized for the long-term service, if you could stand so we could express our applause and appreciation to you.
Number 7. Why don't we do-
Mr. Reba?
Under 76, I just want to thank Jennifer. I worked with her since pretty much back when I was hired, and wish you luck for your future. Thanks.
And I wonder also, Jen, the short time I've worked with you, appreciate the job well done and good luck in your future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
We have two other new items that will need public comment after. The first is recommend board terminate health consultant services with Millennium Incorporated effective
So move.
May 1st, 2016.
Second.
Any comments from the public? Mr. Reba, roll call?
I saw a hand go up in the back.
Where, I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
What will the transition process be for that with coverage?
The next motion, we will be appointing a new health consultant. And the new health consultant will start on April 1st, so we will have a 1-month overlap to transition.
Okay, Mr. Reba?
On the termination of Millennium, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes. Next new motion is to appoint BSI Corporate Benefits for health consulting services effective April 1st, 2016, as per their proposal. And we do have Tony DeRay is here and with us if you have any questions for him.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on the new motion? Mr. Reba?
Do we have any public comment on
That's what I
the
meant.
new motion?
Sorry about that.
On the new motion to appoint BSI, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
No.
Ayes have it, noting Mr. Bonomo's no vote and Mr. Fion?
Yep.
Any other no votes? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Okay, now is the opportunity from anyone in the audience who wishes to ask any questions that's not on the agenda. You have 3 minutes on your question. Doc?
I continue to believe that one of the untapped resources in the district is, or one of the underused resources, I should say, in the district, is the use of grant finding, grant money that should be used for a variety of innovative projects that this district could undertake and should undertake. When I was on the board, the alternative education program fell into that category. The swimming program came into that category. After-school programs at the inner city schools came under that category. I'm hoping that we might be able to get a monthly report from perhaps Mrs. Drobnak and from Mrs. Menendez as to what they've what they are doing or what they're attempting beyond the routine. I consider Perkins Grant type of fund of application and so forth as routine. But something new. What have they done that's innovative? What have they done that's going to help this district do something that's outstanding and something that's different? Obviously, the input comes from the administration and the board, but I would appreciate very much a monthly report in public as to what resources they are attempting to tap into that will help this district, certainly in these days and age of budgetary, difficult budgets.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public would just like to make a comment? Yep, please. Please identify yourself.
Hi, my name is Gene Kennelly. I'm just a parent of a student here in your district. Recently, I noticed there were some security changes at your schools, not just the school my son attends, but all of them. My question is you remove some police officers, move them around, and I understand that part of what the police says is like the chief has the discretion to deploy officers as he sees fit. My question is at one time, I mean, moving them around is one thing. Removing them is a completely different issue. My question is since the inception of the program where you put armed police officers in our schools, how many acts of violence have been prevented just by the officers being there? Does anybody have the answer to that? Nobody? Okay. If it was at least one, do you think the amount of money that you spend on that is worth it? I've spoken to police chiefs of departments in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania who think that pulling police officers from schools, armed officers, is a bad idea. I think you're opening yourselves up to children being hurt. A lot of your security procedures as far as things that happen as far as, your local departments being issued security access cards to the schools, well, only one person has that card. What's the second person supposed to do? Who gets there? I can tell you that major municipal police departments throughout the country who have officers in their schools have conducted studies where they've ran dozens of scenarios where officers attempted to subdue an active shooter or someone with a weapon, and under 3 officers, each time it was done, at least one officer didn't make it, along with many students when they ran these scenarios. So how do you quantify removing armed officers from our schools at the expense of the safety of our students? The one thing they have is to be at school and be safe. I know that learning their alphabet and learning their sentences is pretty important, but sending them home alive at the end of the day is pretty important too. You're gambling with our students' lives, our students' safety, and it's a bad idea. I don't know where you got the idea that pulling these officers or moving them around was a fantastic idea. I know your high school is riddled with crime, gangs, drugs. Figure it out. You need to work something out so that these kids are not at risk anymore. One day is not okay because you can't put an amount of money on the safety of one of our children. And I think you're starting to strongly reconsider pulling these officers and moving them around. It's a bad idea. Any police officer or any police chief who's administered one of these, let's not even talk about the bad things, just talk about an angry parent who wants his child out of school. You guys have, you have a metal detector here at your door, but you pull the metal detectors from our school. Well, why is your safety more important than my son's? If you're that brave, pull the metal detector from your front door. Just ask you to reconsider what you're doing and maybe open that up to some public comment before you go and make policy decisions that could affect children's lives. Thank you.
Chief Harry, would you like to respond?
We don't do this haphazardly.
Yeah, why don't you come up here, please, if you don't mind.
No.
Mr. Harry.
This wasn't done haphazardly by any stretch of the imagination. You're talking about speaking to police chiefs. This is my 3rd job as a police chief. I'm doing this 43 years. I've studied school shootings. I've studied school security. I've studied law enforcement. What we've done, in my opinion, is we've enhanced the security in our schools. Since we've made these changes, we have run the metal detectors randomly. We've been to 3 schools now where we ran the metal detectors with 10 police officers. We did it properly and thoroughly. we found no weapons anytime we ran the metal detectors. Because of the way we've reallocated our manpower, the number of incidents and the type of incidents in our schools have decreased. So we have shown results with the way we're doing things right now. Police officers have not been pulled from the schools. I don't know where you got that from. Okay, there are police officers assigned to every school. Okay, so the bottom line is the changes that we have made are showing results.
And, you know, I'll take it a step further. I did 20 years of security in the school district. Hazleton Area School District was probably one of the first school districts in Pennsylvania, other than Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, that had a security department, that instituted any type of security programs. And we were the leaders for 20 years in school security, keeping our students safe. So when you say, does it matter to us whether our students are safe? It absolutely does. But a police officer is not the only thing that keeps our students safe. And on the bottom of all my letterhead, I would have, safe schools are everyone's responsibilities. Our parents, teachers, maintenance personnel, cafeteria employees, it's everyone's responsibility. And what ends up happening, and what I saw happen over the last 3 years, was where the Hazleton Area School District went from being a leader in school security to falling way behind the 8 ball. A false sense of security when you say, well, we have metal detectors at our front doors, and every student is going to walk through there, and we're going to find every weapon. Well, the truth of the matter is, in 3 months that I've been on the board, there were 3 knives that got through our metal detectors and into our schools. Tell me how that's effective, or how it's working. It's not incorrect. Don't tell me my information was incorrect. Okay. I said nothing about razor blades. I said nothing about razor blades. Now you're telling me that I know what incidents I'm talking about. Okay.
I'm sorry, that's not incorrect information, because we actually get them when the children come for the expulsion hearings, and they actually use it as evidence. So we do see them. So it's not incorrect just because we're not out saying, my God, and trying to incite like a riot of we've put our trust in Chief Harry. He has 43 years. He's only been on the job a short amount of time, but the actuality is that the knives did get through, so Mr. Zola is completely correct.
I'm referring to one particular incident. Mr. Harry's reputation precedes him. You guys up until now and your predecessors, when I refer to you, did a good job in establishing safety and security protocols. You brought police officers into our schools, and that's a fantastic thing. But some of the information that you were given regarding this is incorrect, and to say that there's a police officer at every school, there's not always a police officer. And I'm not saying that there has to be a police officer at every school all the time. The theories and ideas of armed security officers being in our school is a fantastic idea. I mean, the only person who saw it with a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. The way I look at it, I mean, what is an unarmed security officer supposed to do when somebody comes in the school with a gun? Say stop, or else they stop again. What is that person supposed to do? You're really throwing them under the bus in all aspects to say, hey, this is your job, but we're not going to give you the tools to do it. If you were going to do that, why not put the armed security officers in the school before you pulled the officers out?
I think you're
Confused.
students are our number one concern. Have been, always will be. The need to have a police officer in every building is determined by Chief Harry on a basis of types of incidents, locations of the buildings, a lot of different things. I watched Fox News today, and talking about the bombings that are occurring and everything else. And one of the key things that they said that Chief Harry brought up to us in the very beginning was, if you do not change the way you do things, you will become a victim just simply because of that. Once they know where your people are, how they act, where they act, they will outsmart you, and things are changing every day. And what Chief Harry's doing is exactly what he should be doing. Changing things up, moving things around, keeping everything, quiet a little bit. And that's why I'm not even going to sit here and tell you what all we're doing, but. Well, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's exactly right. Yep.
There were documented issues, principals interfering with police officers in your district doing their job.
You know that.
Well, that's why we put
But,
Mr.
but
Harry in that
we
position.
haven't, I don't understand what you're saying. We haven't interfered with Mr. Harry at all.
I'm saying in the future, in the past, there were incidences of school administrators interfering with police officers doing their job to the point where the officers went to their union, wanted to call the district attorney's office on the people who were interfering and bring them into the district.
We know our problems, and we dealt with them. That's why we addressed them.
In the future, please have your administrator stay out of this way.
They are.
Do its job.
Sir, we've already begun that process. Mr. Harry and others, and myself, Mr. Donati, met with principals, with Mr. Harry. We've reset the stage. We have established a new paradigm. And that paradigm and that process procedure, sir, will be followed to a T. So we appreciate your challenge. I think we've met it. Our trust is in Chief Harry, and he's proven himself to be very effective working with building principals to date. So we do appreciate that. Thank you.
Time you've given me to address the issue. Like I said, it's a concern that there is not all, it doesn't have to be a police officer. Somebody with a gun to stop somebody from hurting a child. All I'm asking. Maybe we could just, in the future, you could look at that and say, maybe we did this a little too, we didn't plan too hastily. We didn't plan it out the right way.
I disagree. I think we planned it out exactly the
Where we
way
wanted.
it went down.
Well, I hope you're correct.
You know what?
I really do.
I'm going to tell you something. I don't care if you had a small infantry unit based at each of our schools. If someone wants to commit a crime, they're going to commit a crime in our schools. Let's face it. Don't put the onus that, oh, if something happens, we're looking at you. Take that out the door with you. It could happen any place, anytime. It could happen right here in this room right now. So don't lay that on anybody. The bottom line is everyone sitting up here, Mr. Harry, and every one of our employees has the best interest of your child and every child at heart. So, and if anyone doesn't know that, I'd be very surprised. And, I don't know what more to say to you. I mean, I think you're just going to have to trust us. Absolutely.
I won't let you borrow money. I'd let you borrow my car. You're asking me to trust you blindly with my most treasured possession?
No, I'm not asking you to do that.
Just keep that in mind.
I'm not asking you to do that. That's your choice to send them to a public school.
I would like to make one or two comments. For the past 6 years, I've done all the expulsion hearings. And Mr. Zola is absolutely correct. We've had three this year with knives. And there weren't little knives. There were switchblades. Some had them, 4 or 5 inch blade. They got them into the schools. Thank God they were caught. I have 2 grandchildren who go to the schools. I feel very comfortable with them in their schools. Yes, it may be true that maybe someday there is not an officer in your school. He may be on sick leave. He may be sick. He could be at a court hearing. There are those days that may happen. We don't have extra people. And they are assigned to every building. And I guess, Mr. Harry, on certain days when you do a saturation, they may be pulled, but not for that long a period of time. And I certainly feel very comfortable with my grandchildren in our district, in our buildings, because if I didn't, I don't think I'd want them here. And I trust Mr. Zola, I trust everybody up here, and I certainly trust Mr. Harry. I remember Mr. Harry when he was a patrolman in Hazleton, and that's many, many years ago. He was very professional.
Anal.
He did everything according to the book. He did his investigations, and I have utmost faith in Mr. Harry. And I
That's
think
like
everybody here does too.
old, isn't it?
How many years ago was that, Ed? About 40? But I feel very
Also,
comfortable.
I feel comfortable with saying my most treasured possession goes to this school district also, and so does yours. And so we wouldn't want that to happen to our child. We wouldn't want it to happen to anyone's child. That would be devastating to any of us as parents, to lose one child. So if he wasn't doing what we thought was right, and it was going to affect one of our children, let alone the other 10,000 children in this district, we would be on him.
Very good. And there may be. And there may be. We can't
there may
figure
be,
everything out. It's
He's done
impossible.
a good job in a short amount of time. What are you here, a month?
And sir, we are closing, perhaps have closed those gaps. And I commend Chief Harry's communication with Mr. Donati and myself on a variety of issues, and his short time here has been exquisite. And I think he's aiming to do and is doing the same with the principals. Quick reaction, good decision making. You can see the experience.
No question.
Thank you again.
Anyone else from the audience?
You making noises.
Mr. Chapman, you have
Just
something?
one other thing.
I have one other thing, too.
On the side of the high school, you know, I think, Mr. Patron, you run an excellent facility over there. Our students, for the number of students in that building, you know, I mean, I don't believe we have murderers and rapists and everybody hanging around and all. I mean, I walked through the building. I know the chief watched through the building. There's a lot of employees in the building. I think you're doing a great job. I don't think the reference was fair to you, and I apologize that it came out in public like that, because it's just not true. Thank you.
You're doing a great job.
Mr. Chapman?
As mentioned previously in items 52 through 66, number 58, 59, and 60, we have 3 teachers retiring tonight. Patty Craig, Linda DeCosmo, and Lynn Nemeth. Patty Craig and Linda DeCosmo I know very well. Worked with them over the years. I'm not real familiar with Lynn. But at this point, I'd like to take the time to congratulate them on their retirements and wish them a long and healthy and happy retirement. Patty and Linda, great people, did a great job with the students, and 2 people that are going to be missed, as I'm sure Lynn Nemeth will be missed also. So once again, congratulations to all 3 of them.
Anyone else from the board would like to make comment? If not, we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion adjourned.
Amen.
Take it for your
Meeting
kids.
adjourned.
The peanut butter eggs.